So, since I'm selling all of Jude's cameras, it kind of got me thinking about some of the deals and stuff on cameras that I have gotten in the past, and I thought it'd be interesting to recap some of those deals, what I got, the price I got it for, kind of the story behind it. First, I gotta ship this package for Tom. Tom, I got all your Nikon stuff in here. I'm gonna go ship it to you now. So one of the first deals that I ever got was I was traveling, headed to, I think, North Carolina. We'd stopped in Georgia. We were getting something to eat before picking up a friend. And so I got onto OfferUp and I saw there was a camera listed and it was kind of in the direction we were going. So I messaged the lady and she said she could meet up right then, which just worked out perfectly. So we headed there, and that's when it started to get a little sketchy. We met her at a gas station that was probably not the best part of town, and she was about 10 minutes late, so I was a bit worried at first, also because it was located right next to a prison. And so we sat there, talked to her, got more information. I gave her $40 and ended up getting a Nikon F with a 200mm lens, a shutter cable, I think some other accessories, and then a Nikon pre-AI 50mm 1.2 lens. So despite thinking things were gonna go horribly wrong, I did get a good deal, and I still use that lens. I use it for some professional work, and it's still one of my favorite lenses to use. So another one of my favorite deals off of OfferUp again. This is back when it was first starting out, so there was better deals on it back then. But a guy posted a picture of a big box full of old cameras, and it looked like I could see a few TRLs and a few other cameras and maybe some Canon stuff and things like that. So I messaged him if it was still available, and he said yes, but he's had a lot of people asking. So I got in the car, I drove to see him right then. It was like an hour drive. Got there, started looking through the box, and the guy was like, yeah, I don't really know what all was in here. It was my grandfather's, and getting rid of it. So then he's like, I had a guy offer me $60 for the whole box. It's like, I mean, if you'll give me 50, you can take it now. And just looking at the box, I didn't want to go through everything right there in front of him, but I knew there was more than $50 worth. I think I gave him $80 and took the box home. Got home, looked through it. There was 2 Nikon mats, 2 Canon 81 programs, a Canon AE1. There was a rolleicord, a rolleiflex, earlier models. And this was a big old cardboard box, and there's probably 15, 20, 30 other cameras in there. So I got that whole box for $80. And then because I gave him more than what he'd asked for, I ended up buying stuff for him again 2 or 3 other times because I took care of him. And then of course I made sure to take care of him every time he texted me to let me know he'd found more stuff. So that was another good one. So I just wanted to clarify that I was not trying to, nor did I rip anybody off in getting these deals. The reason I got these at such a good deal is because I'm buying them with an unknown condition. So it's a big risk for me not knowing whether these are going to work. As fact, with the RB67, I spent hours and hours, weeks even, cleaning out fungus from all the lenses, replacing light seals, everything like that. And if I'd had to send it off for repairs, it would have cost me basically what the camera is worth. So yes, I was able to get good deals on these, but it's because it was a substantial risk to me not knowing whether they'll work, and how much time, effort, and money I would have to put into these to fix them could cost me more than what I'm actually paying for them. Obviously, if something is in good shape and I know it's working properly, I'm going to pay a better price for it. So I just wanted to clarify that before moving on. So I'm about to be on this podcast. Zeke, how do you think your podcast is going to go?
It's probably going to suck. 2.0 with Graham. Now we're excited.
Nothing is set up, huh?
Last minute show, man. They call me in and I make it happen.
Your own studio, your own gig, still showing up late.
Still showing up late.
So while he's setting that up, one of my other favorite thrift finds was when I started working over, up in Stewart. See, can you remember that little thrift store we went to? I don't know if I haven't taken you there yet.
No, I haven't
So I walk in there and she's got a shelf full of cameras, and there's an Olympus XA2 and then an Olympus Trip 35. And I asked her how much, and she said $5. And I bought them both. And then there was also a Nikon 85mm 2.8, which I'd never heard of. And it is electronic. You know what camera that goes to? An 85mm 2.8 lens. I asked Chris, and he'd never heard of it. He's like, that's ridiculous. There's no such thing. I was like, no, dude, there's an 85 2.8 because I just bought it. It was 3.5 or something. It's for the Nikon F3 AF.
I thought you were going to say the Nikon again.
No.
That's
auto.
That's the one that
Does that work for your camera? No, it's an autofocus 85mm lens for the Nikon F3. I think it's AF, the autofocus or whatever version of the Nikon F3. So yeah, I spent a total of $15 on that stuff for probably $300 or $400 for that stuff. It was a good one.
Well, yeah, you're what we call in the streets a lucky man.
I'm going over solid thrift finds. Do you have any solid thrift finds or no?
I have this tripod a good friend of mine gave me.
A free find. That's the one I gave you.
It's a piece of crap, but we're gonna use it.
Hey Zeke, I brought you something. Did I bring you? Brought you. Forgot it at the office the other day.
I thought it was something else.
Making progress.
Still here. 10 minutes late.
So while Zeke finishes getting all that stuff set up, another one of my favorite thrift finds is, I can't remember if it was Facebook or OfferUp. The guy had a big box, again, on a kitchen table, and I saw the Mamiya RB67 sitting on that table. I immediately drove off, called the lady, it was a lady actually, called the lady, met her. Another sketchy situation, I think it was in the middle of the ghetto. And she had her son-in-law come to the door, who was not the smallest guy. And I asked him, where's this stuff from, or whatever. And, oh yeah, it's my cousin's or my brother's. He's in jail, so he doesn't need it anymore.
Perfect.
It's like, okay, this is gonna go great. This is gonna go great. So I did buy it, although it was a little sketchy. A lot of stuff had fungus, but it was the RB67, 3 lenses, 3 film backs, a Nikon FE2, the Olympus 35 SP, a Olympus XA2, and an Argus, and like a few other cameras and a few other bodies. So that was also another solid deal. And Zeke has hated me ever since I got that RB67.
I've hated him ever since.
But I got something else for you, Zeke.
Woo-hoo-hoo. Okay.
As soon as you pay me.
Stimulus check coming in soon.
Zeke just bought this bad boy, the RB67. This is Alex, current barista.
I don't know anything about cameras.
I'm helping to set up a lot. See, I'm just adjusting your mic here. A little high. Perfect. We call this the penthouse where Zeke hangs out all day, every day. Posts Instagram photos of his view.
And that's it.
And that's all he does. Just post pictures of his view.
No work is done.
Where did we meet, bro?
Coffee shop, I'm pretty sure.
Shop.
Yeah. Subculture Coffee back in the day, my barista days.
Around what time?
Around what time? It was definitely at night because I only worked night shifts.
And grab a cold brew at 12 a.m., which is the smartest thing to do. And were you always this creative, or did you suck at life at any point?
No, I went to school for graphic design.
Sick.
And I've regretted it ever since, but no, it's fine. Doing weddings, and then I did food photography for a marketing firm for a year. I did a lot of travel stuff with brands. And then I started getting into more video, and I kind of self-taught my way into video. So I've been doing that for 3, 4, 5 years now, and that's what I do full time.
By self-taught, you mean YouTube, or you mean like?
Absolutely, 100% YouTube. Yeah.
I was working landscaping before I did any of this.
That's true. Yeah, you were doing landscape before you did video. I remember because you were doing that when I worked at the coffee shop with my first film camera, a Minolta X700. I remember that was my first camera. Still got it. So, new to me, thrifted that camera I think for $15. It's like a $130 camera, so it was a solid. It's a slower process, which slows everything down. You have to go out and shoot cameras. Then you have to develop that film, which can be a couple days. And you have to scan that film, you have to put it in, and then it's like, okay, now that I see the results of that camera.
Looking back, man, I think everyone's shooting film. You see it everywhere, marketing-wise. People are using mood board, everything. I think everything's going vintage. Here's a good question. Let me ask you this. who's winning, TikTok or YouTube?
It was really weird for me to transition. That's why when I mean,
like you'll learn.
but when I mean it wasn't genuine, that's what I mean about it. But I feel like if we would have just chopped it up, it would have been so much like.
I think it went good.
All right, we'll figure it out. I'll see what's. We made it happen, which is what I wanted.
That's true.
Exactly. Made it happen, and Alex
Yeah.
approves. That is a few of the thrift store and online deals that I've gotten. We just wrapped up Zeke's first podcast called
First, not the last one.
Not the Last One. What's it called again?
In My Element podcast.
In My Element
At
podcast.
EZEQUIEL. CA. No, I'm just kidding. That's my handle. It's In My Element podcast. You can follow it on Instagram.
On Instagram and YouTube. Yep, you'll put the video up on YouTube. Big shout out to this guy, Alex, for helping us out today. Holding down the cameras and everything like that.
He messed up a few times, but it's fine. Look at his face. He messed up a few times. He might be fired after this one, but might be fired after this one, but it's fine.
The residential intern.
All right, but so that's gonna wrap this one up. If you have questions, leave it down in the comments. Make sure you like, follow, subscribe to Zeke's podcast. It's gonna get much better than the first one that he did with me, obviously. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video.